So, you want to know what the good, the bad, and the ugly things are when it comes to forex trading and trading in this currency market? Why? Just trade. What do you got to lose? Nah, that's actually a pretty legit inquiry. So I'm gonna share with you from my perspective what the pros, the cons are, you know what I'm saying, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything else in between, when it comes to Forex and getting involved in the Forex market, right? So stay tuned. Let's head over to my Think Corner and let's think about this. Let's talk it through and see what it do. You know what I'm saying? Let's make it do what it do. You know what I'm talking about, right? Stay tuned. All right, so here we are in my Think Corner. This is actually just a corner of my kitchen. I usually come here and I think about the bread in the market that I want to make. I manifest the bread. I look at bread and manifest the bread and I get the bread. I just think about it. Anyways, so let me give you, pros and cons when it comes to this thing, Forex, you know what I mean? And, just share with you from my perspective, what I think the pros and cons are. I'm not necessarily saying that these are right or wrong. I'm just sharing with you from what I've picked up over the years, just kind of give you some insight, you know what I mean? I'm gonna give you the pros first, and then I'm gonna give you the cons, and it's not gonna be in any type of chronological order. It's just more or less, this is what it is what it is, right? So I say the first pro when it comes to the Forex market is it's 24/5. So, if you wanted to be a nutcase and trade 24 hours in a day, you can definitely do that. I wouldn't recommend that because when it comes down to trading your currency pair, you got to figure out what time of the day it moves, right? You don't want to spend 24 hours in a day, really and truly, but you have the flexibility, right? For instance, if you work night shift, you can trade after work during the day. If you work a day shift, you can trade after work at night, right? So the flexibility is there when we look at a 24/5. 24/5, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? That's a beautiful thing, you know what I mean? You have that flexibility to trade when you want and, what time of day you want, essentially. The next pro I'd say would be, limitless income. You can make as much or as little as you choose. Once you master the skill of trading, you can make as much or as little as you choose on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, right? You just have to figure out, kind of work it backwards. Let's say you want to make, $5,000 in a week or 1,000, whatever that number is. Just figure out how many pips you need to catch in a week, what type of lot size you need to use, right? And just go from there. Keep it in mind, though, that the market will not always give you that number because the market will do what the market wants to do. It can consolidate for a whole week and not do anything, or one week it could just give you, a hella trend, right? Up or down, and you stay catching those pips, racking up the profits, limitless income. You know how we done. Yeah, rapping was never my thing. Yeah. Another pro I would say is the ability to demo trade, right? So before getting in, with live money and trading in the foreign exchange market, you can actually practice. You can open up a demo account. I'll actually link a video right here where I basically go over the steps to get started in the Forex market. And one of them that I mentioned in the video was to open up a demo account. Practice how to place a trade, practice, seeing the fluctuations in the actual floating profit, practice, losing, practice winning, practice your strategy, perfect your strategy, right? Master all these things. And once you're comfortable with that demo account, you can then go live, right? So I love the fact that you can, essentially practice. You're talking about practice? Talking about practice? I love that you can do that, you know what I'm saying, right? So open up a demo account. The volatility, right? The beautiful thing about being in the market is that, especially between the hours of 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to about noon, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is that you have the London session overlap, right? The New York and London overlap. And that's probably the most volatile time of day to trade, so you can get in and get out super quick, make what you want to make super quick, right? So I love the volatility. Now, with that being said, you have to figure out your pair and what time of day it likes to move. For instance, let's say my pair was USD CAD, right? I'm not going to trade USD CAD in, for instance, the Asian session, because it's just not going to move. USD and the CAD, they move in the New York session. Think about it, US, Canadian, New York session, right? So I'm not going to trade that during the Asian session, right? As well, I'm not going to trade, for instance, AUD JPY in the New York session. I'll trade that maybe in, late Asian session or beginning of London session. Why? Because it's the Australian dollar against the Japanese yen. I got to think about that. It'll most likely move during the Asian session. So why not trade it when it's most volatile, right? You have to figure out what your pairs are, when they move and how they like to move. You know what I mean? Whoa, wait. Hang on a second. Did y'all even smash the like button yet? And you want me to continue telling you the pros and cons? Man, you better smash the like button. Another pro I'd say is the low barrier to entry. You can get started in the Forex market, open up a live account with maybe 50 bucks, right? As low as that. I'm sure there's brokers out there that will go as low as $10, $20, but the average minimum is $50, right? So if you have an extra $50 laying around and you want to get started, hey man, just chuck that into a live account and boom, bada bing, bada boom. There you go, you know what I'm saying? You can get started, right? Now with that being said, everyone thinks that they're going to get started with $50 and flip that into, $1,000 and $5,000 and $100,000 within the first year of trading. It doesn't work like that. Come on, let's be real. You're going to use that $50 to place your first live trade, right? Feel all the jitters, right? Work out all the kinks, because it's completely different when you have a demo and a live account. And I say this because with the demo, you can just practice all your technicals, make sure that you know when to place a trade, when to exit, right? However, with the live account, it's more or less your emotions come into play. Your psychological aspect of it comes into play, right? Low barrier of entry, low cost to enter. That's a great pro. I mean, like I said, if you have 50 bucks lying around and you just want to chuck it into a live account, yo, do that, right? Do that. Just get those kinks out. Why not? Now let's talk about the cons, the cons. Now, one of the first cons I would say, there's no guarantee in this thing. There is absolutely no guarantee whatsoever. The only guarantee is that you're going to put in the work and make it happen. But you have to guarantee yourself to do that. It's not like your typical 9-to-5 job where you go into work and you're guaranteed a paycheck. It ain't like that. This will take time. Average person takes 3 to 5 years. It may take some people longer. It may take some people shorter. Yeah, I've seen stories online, of people coming in 6 months and killing it. But truth be told, I'd rather someone come in, and they spend, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years honestly struggling through and then finally have that breakthrough because they know how to weather that storm, than someone to come in 6 months, kill it, and then struggle for the next 2, 3 years and then quit because they said, oh man, this doesn't work. Because they don't know how to weather the storm. Because they figured based on their first 6 months that that's how it is with trading, just to have that profitability like through the roof. But that's not the case. So there's no guarantee. Now, as I said earlier, you're the guarantor, right? You gotta put in the work, the time, the countless, hours on the charts, right? Practicing, you know what I'm saying? Learning, education, getting involved with different groups, on the online community and asking different traders how they did this, how they did that. You have to really put in the time. It's not easy. The next con would be the regulations in the Forex market. So unlike the stock market where it's heavily regulated, the Forex industry is not regulated to that extent, right? Mind you, there are brokers that are regulated. So which means they are governed by, a financial body, right? There are also brokers that are not regulated. They're not governed by any financial body. The biggest difference obviously is the regulations, but as well, with a regulated broker, your money is protected. In the event you have, that broker bankrupts, your money's protected, right? Now, with an unregulated broker, if that broker shuts down, they are no longer in business, your money is gone. You can't do anything about it. Nothing at all, right? So you have to look at that. Forex market is what's called an OTC, over-the-counter market, right? It's deregulated. There's no one or nothing really to say you have to follow these rules and you have to do X, Y, and Z, right? For the most part, you know what I mean? So that's one con, I'd say. Another con, I'd say, is scams. Unfortunately, with, this large market, trillions of dollars are being traded on a daily basis. There's so many scams, especially in the social media aspect, right? You'll get a lot of people that, that'll send you DMs and say they're working with Michael, and Michael is a great portfolio manager. Send me over, $100 or $500 or whatever amount, monetary or crypto, and we can, invest it and grow it to 10,000 by the end of the week. Nah, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. And if ever someone DMs you or sends you a message on whatever platform, have your red flags just waving. Just wave those red flags, you know what I'm saying? Because really and truly, no one should be messaging you and say, hey, look, I can do X, Y, and Z for you. Why they message you in the first place? I'll tell you this, if you end up getting scammed, you deserve to be scammed, straight up. It is what it is. Because why put yourself in that position? Why not take the time to learn the skills necessary to make money for yourself and not depend on anybody to make money for you? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, right? Lastly, is the education. And that's a con, right? And I say that because there are so many different avenues in this world of Forex that, especially someone new coming in, they don't know whether to go left, right, up, or down. And unfortunately, they may end up getting the wrong type of education when it comes to foreign exchange and trading in the market, right? They may learn strategies that require 10 different indicators, right? They may learn strategies that require you to do 10 push-ups, 30 jumping jacks, and 5 sit-ups before you place a trade, because if you do that, you're guaranteed to win. Nah, that's not the case, right? Make sure that when you are doing your education is that you vet the person or vet the course or vet whatever avenue you're going, right? Make sure you know their success rate with other students. You know what I mean, right? Look at their testimonies if they have testimonies. If they don't have testimonies, why not, right? So you have to look at those things. You know what I mean? Those are things that you have to keep in mind, right? Now, with that being said, education, you can spend anywhere from $100 for a course all the way up to, I think one of the most expensive courses I've seen was $1,000, right? Now, just because you're paying $100 versus $1,000 does not necessarily mean that the higher priced item is the better priced item, right? So this is where I say you have to vet the course and vet the person behind the course, right? Make sure that you are learning from a credible source. Now, again, that's kind of hard to do, a credible source, because we're operating in, a deregulated system, right? But essentially, just make sure that you've done your homework. You know what I mean, right? So those are the big things there. Cool. So there you have it. Those are my pros and cons when it comes to trading in the Forex market. That's what it is, right? No guarantees, you know what I'm saying? Limitless income, 24/5, right? But hey, do with what you please with the information. I just wanted to share with you from my perspective what I think, the pros and cons are. Again, they weren't in really any, level of importance, you know, or in any chronological order. It was just more or less, it is what it is, right? Listen, I appreciate you sticking through this long. You know what I'm saying? If you have, please click the like button, hit subscribe, because as I keep saying, I'm gonna keep dropping some nice content, give back to the community. I feel so chill right now, so mellow. It's a nice feeling. It's also hella early in the morning too. I got up at, what time did I get up this morning? I had set my alarm for 4:30, but I got up at 3:30 this morning. And it's 6:40 right now. I placed a couple trades, got some stuff done. I don't know why I'm rambling. I'm gonna talk to y'all in the next video. As I always say, speak truth and speak life. I'm out.